Welcome back to the second episode of Scrubbed In, where you join me and Ams as we talk about our journey from med school. So what's episode 2 about? We're going to talk to you a bit more about how we prepare to go to medical school. We'll give you all the details, the nitty-gritty details, and you'll finally find out which one of us got robbed.
You already told them that I got robbed last week, man.
So it was
why is that? This is Scrubbed In. This is about medicine.
So it was Ams that, you got robbed in. Oh,
I got robbed in. Alright.
It's fine.
Okay, so where should we start? Let's start off with Abdul. Right. You got into college, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So he's only saying that because I wanted to go to a college which he happened to go to. However, when I did apply to all the various sixth forms of colleges, as you do after GCSEs, having done all right, I got rejected from every single one of them. And to, rub salt into the wound, all my mates ended up going to the college that I wanted to get into. So they all had the offer except me. So, I was thinking, I'm going to be stuck in this sixth form by myself.
Hold on. Every single one.
All of them got an offer to go to your college, really.
Yeah. All of them were free as well, yeah?
Yeah,
they were all free and they were, okay.
And then, I was the only one that got rejected. So then began the most important, task of mine, even more so than getting into med school, was how do I convince my friends to come and stay in the same sixth form as me for the next 2 years. Luckily enough, we were very close at the time, and we were a very small group of friends, so they all managed to end up staying in my current sixth form. So I convinced them not to go to the school they wanted to go to just because I got rejected, and I think they're probably watching and just laughing right now. So
you managed to convince all your friends to stay for you.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm a very good friend.
Good friend, So what did you do at college then? So for medicine, what?
So it was actually sixth form. So luckily enough, to go to medicine, there's certain entry requirements. So a piece of advice before we begin, for everyone that's applying for certain medical school, just find out what subjects or what entry requirements are. For us, it was you had to have 1 or 2 sciences, particularly chemistry, and maths as well. I can't really remember.
I don't think maths was
wasn't it maths?
Compulsory one. I think it was you had to have chemistry, and it was either biology, physics, or maths as an add-on.
Okay, fine.
And then everything else was literally a bonus, wasn't it?
Yeah. So definitely, I remember. For us, I remember it was chemistry. So what I did the triple sciences, which I did quite well in GCSEs. I really enjoyed. So that's chemistry, physics, biology, and I did maths. And
so all the sciences.
Yeah, pretty much the sciences, everything.
No flavour, just
chemistry, biology, physics. That's a lot of flavour there. Yeah. I enjoyed physics, but mine was way too hard, so I dropped physics. And for A2 or A level, I did chemistry, biology, and maths. And that was in sixth form. I think you probably did something similar. Or
I did very similar, in fact. No flavour. So biology, chemistry, physics, but I also did some economics.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I did some economics. I really enjoyed sort of learning about the economy and
what did you do maths?
Supply. I didn't do maths.
Oh, so you did 4. You did economics was your 4th one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, bit of flavour. I think it's important for our viewers to especially know that you can. I think some universities, doesn't UCL also prefer things like
and non-science or something? Yeah,
non-science. I think especially in the field of medicine, and a lot of universities do actually give some preference and do like to see that you're an individual who maybe plays an instrument, has an interest in politics or elsewhere. I think it just shows that you've got sort of a broader skill assets. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it definitely pays to obviously do the subjects that are desirable, so the sciences or maths, economics, but also something that you're genuinely interested about, have a passion. So it can be politics, history, economics, and unis kind of look for that. Just you don't want someone just a science and academic. They want to see that you are an individual and you do have other interests outside of medicine, which is quite key.
So what musical instrument did you play?
I played the flute in year 9 and I was amazing at it.
The flute?
Yes. Everyone in this country has played the flute. What did you play?
The xylophone.
The xylophone. Do you even know how to spell xylophone?
No.
Spell xylophone.
Starts with X.
Yeah.
L. Wait, you wouldn't be able to correct me on this, yes? You don't know.
It's X, Y, L,
O, and then phone.
F-O.
F-O, there you go, yeah?
P-O.
There you go.
P-H-O-N. Alright, so those are the subjects that we did. Pretty much the sciences, I did maths and he did economics. So you do your A-levels, preparing for application medicine, and the other various bits and bobs we'll probably talk about today in terms of application. So
just to go back one more time, so you do your GCSEs, you get your grades from your GCSEs, and then you have to sort of select your A-levels. We did the sort of classical science, all the sciences essentially, biology, chemistry, physics and maths. Nowadays I think universities do have preferences for humanities and other subjects out there, so make sure you actually just search up the university that you want to go to, look up for sort of the entry requirements and take it from there. A-level. So you got rejected from every college, managed to convince all your friends to stay at this one sixth form just for you.
Thank you guys.
And then what happened?
So I think I'm pretty sure it's still the same. You start applying for the UCAS application.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, for everyone that's applying for medicine, the deadline's a bit earlier. For us, it was around the October and January. So I remember it's a bit earlier compared to the other degrees. So you have a shorter time frame which you need to be conscious of. There were different aspects to it. Obviously you had to go fill in the application, which was all new to me and my friends. Get a personal reference from someone at someone at college or sixth form. For me, I kind of was fortunate my head of sixth form did that reference for me, and he kind of, I wouldn't say he promoted me or kind of encouraged me to do medicine, but he was supporting me and happy that I wanted to kind of pursue medicine, and he did the reference. So I'm grateful for that.
Did we have to do our UKCAT before the UCAS, or did we? No,
so I think you apply for the UCAS and then you do the UKCAT. I sat my UKCAT, I remember, towards the end of the year.
Okay.
While we're on UKCAT, my God, that was such a disgusting exam.
Just to quickly clarify, the UKCAT or the BMAT exams, they're the entrance exams for a lot of the medical schools. So some medical schools don't need any entrance exams. Some schools require the UKCAT and other schools require the BMAT. I think the BMAT is especially for Oxford, Cambridge and Imperial.
And UCL as well.
Yeah. So what happened there?
So UKCAT, so I knew we had to kind of do the UKCAT to go into certain medical schools. Just bearing in mind, all the medical schools I did apply for were all London based, just because I didn't want to move out of home. I wanted to stay at home. All my friends and family were based in London, and we're fortunate enough to have a good 4 or 5 medical school in the city. UKCAT, I'm sure now everyone probably access information. There's all these courses. There's I think now it's like 1,200 questions to practice UKCAT. I didn't do any of those, by the way. I didn't attend a single course. One, because they were very expensive. I didn't have, for someone that was on £2 a day dinner money.
Okay.
I didn't have the luxury of kind of going to these courses, and I never knew how much beneficial these courses were.
Yeah.
Or because it's not something you do, right? It's the courses are for, they weren't told, or we weren't told like, oh, these courses are really good. It helps you do anything.
I didn't know about it, to be honest myself.
And even the book is really good from what I've heard, but I've never even, I never got the book. I didn't revise. So what I did, I kind of did some research online, had to look at the practice papers online, and fortunate enough, I was able to do well in the UKCAT.
You did just the practice papers.
Yeah,
you're a genius.
And I'm sure I scraped enough to kind of land the interview, and then did the interview. But UKCAT for me was quite tricky. It tests certain, I think it's like abstract and reasoning.
It's changed a little bit.
Yeah,
it's changed a little bit, but yeah.
And this was stuff I wasn't really good at school. We weren't really taught how to do well in the UKCAT.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm just glad I did well. I scraped through, got the interview, and got into med school and became, was able to become a doctor. So I'm sure you probably smashed it.
I think it's important to say, how long did you actually prepare for how long did you spend preparing for the UKCAT?
If I'm honest, probably not as much as other people may have.
Yeah.
It was probably due to the fact I didn't understand or quite fathom as to how important these exams were. You have to understand, I wanted to do medicine, I was really eager and motivated to do it, but at the same time, if I didn't get an offer to go med school, I was still happy.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't make a difference for me if I got in or not. It wasn't the end all be all for me, if that made sense.
Yeah.
So the UKCAT interviews, personal statement, UCAS were just formalities for me. Don't get me wrong, I did put time and effort into it.
Yeah.
But at the back of my head, it was, okay, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do my best.
Yeah.
But if I don't do too well, I'm happy with it. And I'll pursue something else.
Yeah. So you had your options open then, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. So yes. So where do we go from here? So A levels.
Yeah. So we did A levels. We did the UCAS applications.
Yeah.
We got references. Who did your reference? Did you get someone to do it? A friend, colleague, teacher, or how was that for you?
See, I've got a quite a story to tell, I guess. So what happened? It's quite complex here. So what happened was, right, I got a decent grades in AS, but not good. It wasn't good enough for medicine, right?
Okay.
I got 2 A's, 2 B's, right, in my AS year. Just simply not good enough. And I remember at the time just thinking, the 2 A's I got was an indication to me, like, I can do this. I can get A's. I can get better than A's, in fact. And so what I did was, I went to my teacher and I said, look, please just predict me all A's. And I remember they saying no, saying I can't do it, and so forth, and I'm just being silly now. Anyways, I sort of begged them and got my way in the end, because predicted grades are important, because universities look at that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they use the predicted grades because you don't sit the exams before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They see your application before you've actually got the A-level qualification. So you have to remember, your predicteds, they're very important. Anyways, I sort of begged them and it brought them round. Anyways, and then it got to the reference stage, didn't it? And so I wanted to go to Oxford and Cambridge.
Did you?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Oxford and Cambridge.
Wow. I didn't even bother applying because I knew I wasn't going to get in.
I was pretty crazily, I still am crazily ambitious. But anyways, I went up to my teacher and I remember saying, Miss, do you mind writing a reference for me? And she asked me, where do you want to go? And I said, Oxford or Cambridge. And she said, where? So I just said, yeah, Oxford or Cambridge. Mind you, I dressed very differently back then. You have to imagine I was wearing a sort of new era cap backwards and a hoodie on, and let's not go to how I looked. My appearance was more of an American rapper. Imagine an American rapper saying they want to go to Oxford or Cambridge to study medicine. It just doesn't fit the picture, does it? Anyways, she said no. And that was it. That was the end of the road of essentially the end of the road of my Oxbridge dreams there. But I thought, you know what? She was the same lady who said to me, you shouldn't even bother applying for medicine.
Wow. So she told you not to apply at all?
Just straight, frankly said, do not apply. Look elsewhere.
And how did you feel after that when she kind of told you that?
I sort of battled the teacher. I sort of said, well, in my mock, so this was now 2-3 months into the second year of college, so I said, well, I've sort of gotten all A stars in my all the mocks that we've done, and I can do it. And she said, even if you were to get all A stars and then sit the entrance exam and also smash that, you probably still wouldn't get in. She had no faith in me. And then she also said, even if you were to then get an interview.
Wow, she was adamant she didn't want you to.
Yeah, and so she said, even if you were to get the interview, get the place, she said, you'll never make it out alive of university, so don't even bother.
So where do you think, obviously, I'm sure there's loads of teachers that support whatever the students do, and you know, it's a profession similar to being a doctor where you kind of help people. Why do you think she had that mindset? Is it because, you know, the school you went to, like you said in the previous episode, out of 100 or 20 or 200 people, only 2 or 4 people got into med school? Is it kind of like she didn't want you to get your hopes up and then kind of get rejected? Because, you know, rejection hurts.
That's actually a very tough question that it's hard to understand, isn't it? Like, why a teacher wouldn't support a youth or young adult sort of in their pursuit of their sort of ambitions and dreams. I don't really understand. Is it because they want to ensure that I'm being realistic and essentially protect me from heartbreak? Is it that they just don't believe in me? They don't think I can do it? I honestly don't know. And it's something that I'm actually working within the sort of borough with schools as well to change. I think teachers need to be supporting us. Even if we lack certain skills, they need to help us develop those skills.
No, definitely.
But when she said it, I don't know. You know what? If I actually sort of throughout my med school years and even after qualifying, tried to hunt her down.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought I'd go and tell her, look, I've made it.
Right.
She's nowhere to be seen. If she's watching this, email me, please.
That's fine. So for me, it seems like I had a much easier ride than you. So I managed to get my head of 6th form to give me the predicted grades I needed. He gave me a very good reference. So I think for you, it was more of a battle. So
It
from what I
was.
gathered, you still managed to kind of overcome those hurdles and get the reference. So how was the personal statement itself? How did you find writing that? Was it something difficult? What did you?
So, admittedly, I actually found at that stage writing a personal statement very difficult. I mean, I was studying all the sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, and maths, and none of them really and truly require you to spell words correctly and write sentences appropriately and so forth. So I don't think I really had those skills anyway. So what I did was I wrote a statement. I googled lots of sort of pieces of advice, watched loads of YouTube videos, and I managed to put together a personal statement. But going back to the pieces of advice that we gave in our previous episode, I sort of actively went out looking for help. So I went and asked the teacher of mine, who was very supportive, in fact, of my sort of medical ambitions, and he actually reviewed it several times. So I did in the end receive support.
Good.
I did, and he sort of looked over it several times.
So I guess if you kind of show the teachers and your school that you're still committed despite the obstacles, despite not coming from the best background, despite not coming from a school that may be known to have a high number of entrants to medical school, I think maybe the teachers kind of see that, this student, this boy or girl is really committed on it. Let me support them. Let's see if we can achieve something. So I think that's quite good. You kind of set the trend or the precedence for them to kind of change their mindset. It's all mindset, isn't it? You kind of have a shift in mindset, and then they can move into the future encouraging other students. The first statement for me, I enjoyed writing a lot back then. So I didn't really find it that difficult. And like you, I did kind of spend some time on it, and I probably gave it more effort than the UKCAT or preparing for anything else. I got a lot of my colleagues to read through it. I got my teacher to review it and tweak it. And as with all things, you start off with something that's probably not the best piece of work, and then by the time you come to submit it, it's something that I would say I was proud of, and I thought it will give me a good standing, and it kind of reflected who I was in that moment in time. Because it is one way to show the university, all these individuals that this is who I am, this is my background, this is why I want to be a doctor. Give an interview, because essentially to land the interview, right? Yeah,
exactly. I think that's actually quite an important tip. Always get get into groups of friends, and then sort of have loads of people sort of cast an eye over it. Fresh eyes always helps, doesn't it? So you've said that you had loads of people look at it. That's quite an important tip, I think. It's something I do now.
Definitely.
So
but and to be fair, I send my work to you to review anyway.
Now,
I think my writing has deteriorated, so has my level of English. So personal statement, we talked about the different A levels we did, the references, predicted grades. As people that may be kind of applying or looking to go into medical school, something that's like a buzzword is work experience. Like a funny story. I remember when I first went on, the first day at med school, I don't know if you remember. By the way, we both went to King's College London. I think we should tell them. So one of the rooms, we kind of sat down and we were meeting different people. And I remember this one guy, he was just, introducing himself to everyone. And one of the first things he said to us was, how many different types of work experiences did you do? And I only did, a good 2 or 3. And he said he did 23 separate work acceptances.
23, or was it more?
It was an obscene amount of work, and I just looked at Hamza and I thought, we didn't do half as much. But kind of moving back, what type of work experience did you do? Did you feel it helped you kind of make that decision to do medicine, or did it kind of put you off medicine? Obviously now you're a doctor, but at that time, kind of walk us through what happened.
See, the way my work experience wasn't really healthcare related at all. Again, looking through sort of all the experiences that I did, I didn't get the insurance that you needed to have to sit in a GP sort of office. They told me you needed a certain type of insurance. And I didn't get clearance to go into a hospital. It's quite difficult as a 16-year-old to go and get approval to go into theatre and here and there. So what I did was I went back to the drawing board, right? And I just thought I need to get work experience that just demonstrates a lot of skills. I wanted to show that I could communicate well, that I was a good sort of team player. So I just joined actually a charity.
Wow.
So I did lots of charity work. And through the charity work, I managed to go to a few clinics here and there as well, which was healthcare orientated. The majority of it was things like I was standing outside on Whitechapel Road with a bucket in my hand, collecting money for campaigns, or knocking on doors. So yeah, I did mainly charity work, which led me down the sort of work experience route to develop myself. What about you? Did you get any healthcare related?
So I think I was fortunate looking back. Work experience. So I didn't kind of go down, the whole route of going to different shops and places to get work experience. I kind of rocked up to those career offices. I'm not too sure if they still have that at school now, is where they kind of hook you up or find a place for you.
Okay.
At the time, there was only two. There was either you work in a library or work in a nursing home.
Alright.
So I opted for the nursing home.
Okay.
I kind of thought, you know what, I'm just going to be there with elderly people and kind of feeding them, and so you're not going to be that great. But when I went there, I kind of enjoyed it a lot, and it gave me an insight into what a doctor is, because I enjoyed interacting with these people. Some of them did have medical conditions, some were there just because they don't have much support at home, they were elderly, and even the small actions of feeding them, playing with them, doing exercises just to keep them stimulated, I enjoyed that a lot. That for me was more of a reassurance as to, do you know what, if you were to make it as a doctor, if you were to be in this healthcare industry, you'd enjoy it. Because I enjoyed it. It was a good 2 weeks for me. I got to understand different aspects of nutrition, diet, all the other, and that was reassuring for me.
So that sort of fueled you even more to go towards.
So and I think and after that I was able to kind of do like a long-term volunteering in like a hospital. I probably said it in a weird way on my personal statement, but in essentially I was just folding up paper and putting it in an envelope, but I'm sure I made it out to be something amazing. But you kind of do them volunteers where the guys that come with the trolleys giving you chocolate and selling you magazines. That was me a good few years ago, and that also put me in a hospital environment on the wards, surrounded by doctors, nurses, and you kind of see yourself being in their shoes and kind of being there, and that kind of motivates you.
Nice.
But just talking about it, and when you mentioned that you find it a bit difficult to go into a hospital and GP, what I realized, working as a doctor and later on as a medical student, it's a lot of the people are fortunate enough that their parents may be doctors or they know someone that's a doctor, and they were able to get work experience a lot easier than people like in my and your situation. So you'd find a lot of people had the work experience in hospitals and theatres, was able to sit in clinics purely due to family connections, or their dad was a doctor or they knew a doctor.
True,
and in that sense I do feel that it does uneven the playing field. I don't know if you have any advice on how to overcome that, or if it's something you experienced yourself while working as a doctor.
So that's exactly what I faced, isn't it? I didn't know a doctor or a surgeon or anyone that could take me under their wing on an informal basis without sort of all the long sort of winded approval processes. But you know what? You don't really need healthcare experience to do. It's about demonstrating all of your skills. Right? You had the experience in the nursing home, which sort of got you into the sort of the working environment of what you're in now. Right? But if you're sort of dead certain on doing medicine, you sort of need to now develop your skills, isn't it? You need to show you're a team player, you're a leader, you're able to problem solve, you're able to communicate with people. And I think as long as you demonstrate all of that, I sort of will get to the interviews a little bit later, but I remember tailoring all of my answers in charity work to what the ideal doctor would have been like, right? So for example, the concept of knocking on someone's door and asking for some change for a campaign, I mean, the ability to communicate with someone that you don't know at a sort of daunting sort of moment where you knock on someone else's door, right? It takes some skill to do that, and to develop that skill, it's a talent in itself. So I think for our viewers out there, if they're thinking about medicine and they're thinking about work experience, if you can't get healthcare sort of related work, don't be disheartened. Look for generally work experience.
It's in the name, isn't it?
Work experience, just to show off what skills you have and just to develop. Remember, you're always learning. That's what medicine is about, isn't it?
I definitely agree. And I echo the point again. I remember, at the end of the day, the work experience, it was to show that you're committed to something long term.
Yeah.
You have time management skills. You have some aspects of leadership, and you can communicate well and problem solve.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. If you're struggling to kind of get work experience in a hospital or in a GP or in a clinic, there are lots of other things where you can pick up the same skills that we use day in day out as a doctor. So definitely I agree. Is there anything else that you feel that kind of helped you with your application to medicine? I don't know, which medical school did you apply for?
Oh, so I didn't apply to Oxford and Cambridge, obviously.
Yeah, we forget that.
Let's not forget that. Not her at all. I applied for King's. I applied for Sheffield.
Okay, so you were happy to move out of London?
My nan lives there.
Okay,
so I was willing to go live with
yeah.
my nan. But London, King's, Sheffield. That was it. You know what? That was it for my ambition. So the other applications were they were non-medical courses.
Were they? Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So I applied for pharmacy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got my place for pharmacy. So at the London School of Pharmacy, which is now UCL.
Yeah.
And I forgot the other. And biomedical sciences at Queen Mary. And I didn't even make a fifth application, I think.
Okay.
And that was it.
So so that whole mindset you had, even as a few years earlier, you were always thinking about this backup option, always thinking about.
It was always lingering. I didn't really. So by that stage, by the stage of selecting universities, I was dead certain of doing medicine. It was just that sort of I didn't sit the BMAT, so that ruled out Imperial and UCL.
Okay.
And I didn't want to move that away from family. I had my nan up in Sheffield, and I had the majority of my family in London.
So what about Cambridge, Oxford?
That wasn't gonna happen. Didn't get no reference, obviously.
Okay,
right?
I see.
So I knew of King's. Queen Mary wise, what happened there? Don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't know that they had a medical course.
Yeah, I think at that time you're young, and especially for me, I was the first person to go to university.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's probably the same for you. You don't really have that many people that kind of went through the system, became doctors, and if you do, there's so many and so few in between that you can't really get hold of them. And I think it was just a blur for me. I don't think, if I'm honest, really knew what I was doing. I'm just fortunate enough it kind of worked and things fell into place for me. But at the time, I remember it's just like a tick list process: do this, do that, submit this and that. And I think that is what the schools or the environment we grew up kind of lacked. There wasn't any structure. There wasn't any guidance on, right, if you want to do medicine, this is what you need to do. These are the skills you need to develop. These are the type of work experience you need to have. And this is the way a personal statement that lands you in an interview should be. And I think, there's a lot of people out there doing lots of different courses that are more accessible to people like us. And, I'm grateful for them, because it means it allows us an even playing field and opportunity to start pursuing medicine.
Yeah, I think in general, at every stage of life, you need a mentor to tell you
Definitely.
What you can do, what you can't do, the options that are available. A mentor always helps. But I don't think I never had a mentor. Did you?
No, I didn't know what mentor meant.
If you could go back in time, would you have seeked out a mentor?
I'd ask you to be my mentor.
I wouldn't have been.
Oh yeah, you would have been the same age.
Come on, man.
That's fine. I know. I definitely agree. Even, and it's not just for college, medical school. I think you should always have a mentor, someone that's a few years ahead of you, kind of in their field or doing something that you aspire to do, just so they, a guiding hand and kind of tells you the pitfalls, what went well, what went bad for them, and kind of someone they can rely on. And I definitely would encourage people to seek out mentors. And there are more than enough people out there that are willing to get a mentee, that they're happy to guide and give some advice.
Even at our stage, I mean, as a junior doctor, we're junior, we can seek out consultants and registrars who are willing to sort of guide our careers in whatever way we want. Mentors are a way forward. So I think it's now time to wrap up episode 2. We'll go on to sort of giving our golden tips again.
Wait, just before you go on, I just remembered. I completely forgot. You got robbed, right? Tell me how that happened. Like, I'm sure you told me the story, but I can't really remember. But I'm glad we remembered.
Man, this was serious, man.
So what happened?
So, and it was what really ignited the hunger in me to do medicine. So, man. So, anyways, let's go back. Flashback to what, 2009, maybe 10, 9 or
around
10.
that time.
Anyways, so you have to remember, I was a crazy fan of American rap.
Okay.
right? And during those years, it was
Yeah.
the era of sort of wearing jeans a little bit lower than
Yeah.
where it should be.
I've never done that ever.
A
by
little
the
bit
way.
lower, yeah. Wearing a big baggy hoodie, wearing a cap.
And boot cuts. Boot cuts. Did you,
Boot cuts.
was that there or
Yeah,
no?
I was wearing boot cuts. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm so you have to remember, I still was a very sort of academic. So it didn't match obviously,
Yeah.
right? But if you looked at me, maybe you
would have
thought
assumed.
this guy was a thug.
Yeah.
Right? I looked like a thug. Anyways, so what happened was I finished my lessons. I went to my 9 a.m. lesson. I went to, had some lunch, and I was now on my way home, right? And I'm walking, and I walk past a group of guys, and they just sort of look at me very aggressively. Anyways, I give them no eye contact, and I just walk straight past them. Right, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I see my bus come, I get on my bus, and the bus delays itself like 2 minutes, and I knew it then. My fate was.
This sounds like a conspiracy, man. The bus.
The bus driver.
Yeah,
I'm sure the
was
bus
in on
driver
it.
was in on it. Anyway, and I see those same guys just run by and get onto the bus, and I'm now looking there, and I'm like, my fate is sealed. Anyways, they sit surrounding me.
Yeah.
Surrounding me. And back then, I don't know, everyone's got like all these young kids now have iPhones. I had a Nokia N95.
I think that was quite good back then, no?
It was not good. It was a hand-me-down, and it was also
Is it?
sellotaped and blue-tacked on.
Okay, I think
and I was trying to sell it for £20. I wanted £20 for it, but no one
Yeah.
would buy it for £20.
Fine.
Anyways, and they sat next to me, and then they started to talk to me, and they said, "Oh, you're from a certain area,"
Oh, I see.
and they said, "You're a gang member." Like, gang?
Just based on the fact the way you looked.
No, I don't know. I have no idea why they assumed that. So I was like, gang member? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean gang member? I'm studying for my chemistry exam. I want to study medicine.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're like, you're lying, you're a gang member. And I'm like, you know what, we're going to rob you now. I'm like, rob me?
I
Like,
love the fact that, back then they tell you they're going to rob you and then they proceed to go rob you.
and I've never been robbed in my life.
Mm.
So I'm just thinking, what
Yeah.
does this involve? And he goes, so give me your phone. So without sort of thing, I just went, no, not really, because I'm on a bus.
Yeah.
It's a moving bus. I can see CCTV
Yeah.
around me, loads of people around me. So I said no. So my voice was
Trembling.
quaking,
Yeah.
It's like, no. Anyways, and he just pulled out a knife, pinned me against the window.
Wow.
Yeah? He pinned me against the window with a knife to my neck and said, give me your phone. Okay, so at that point, I
You
was,
just gave it.
no, your life slows down, and I just saw my life flash in front of me. And I saw myself, like, I can't do this. So I gave him my phone.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, he looked at the phone and he said, what is this? Yeah, it's sellotape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, okay, fine, he's taking that. And then he said, what else have you got on you? And I had some change on me,
Yeah.
like £2. And I sort of brought out the coins and he said, yeah, give me that too. So he took £2 off me and
Plus
my
the phone.
phone. Yeah. And then he asked for my cap.
Yeah.
See, my cap was, that's how you know it's a good cap.
No, but
It was
for
like
the people
a
that
good
know
cap.
Ams,
Yeah.
he used to be into his designer wear. He used to wear a lot of
Always.
expensive
Always.
fashion, especially even in med school, like the first, second year. You know, and I remember we used to go shopping, and he used to spend a hell of a lot of money on
Yeah.
these really fancy, expensive clothes.
But mind you, it was not that. I saved up for weeks.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
weeks, right?
I
I wouldn't
used-
eat.
yeah,
I would prioritize.
Yeah,
So
I was
buying
there.
branded clothing over my sort of hunger. I'd go hungry.
I witnessed to you
Not
starving
anymore.
to
Not
buy a
anymore.
pair of jeans.
Not anymore. Anyways, so they took my cap, and then I just thought, okay, they're gonna get off now. But you know what? That SIM card was, the number was important to me for some reason,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. I said, can I have my SIM card back?
Yeah.
They were lovely. They actually gave me my SIM card back. I mean, he struggled with the back of the phone.
Yeah.
He was like, how do you open it? There was
Yeah.
blue tack. I was like, can you take the blue tack off? And then if you take the sellotape off and then take out the battery, you'll find that there's a little bit more blue tack there.
Yeah.
Take that off and the SIM card comes out. And he gave me my SIM card,
Fine.
and they just sort of went off on their own way. And you know what? This is where it becomes serious now, right? That really ignited a hunger in me to sort of become A, successful, and B, support others to never be in that position, but not as the victim, as the person who's doing it. Why should someone, just for a phone or for something of monetary value, have to hurt someone else and have to take someone else's goods? Maybe those guys needed the phone for money to eat. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right? But why should someone have to be in that situation in a country right now, right, where we're all given education as a ticket? Man, that is not a choice, right?
Yeah.
So that happened to me actually in AS after the AS exams. And
so just around the time you're applying for medical school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I got, obviously the AS results came out, and I had 2 A's and 2 B's, and I thought, you know what, I can get all A stars, and I want to get all A stars. So what I did was I actually went back and I said, I want to sit every single paper, regardless of how well I did in it, or if I got a very high B or a low A or a high A. I wanted 100% in every single paper.
Wow.
So some teachers thought I was absolutely crazy at this point, but I convinced them, and I did just that. So I went back and I sat every paper, right, and a lot of them I got 100%, and it comes from that experience that I am going to win. Right. That's important. It goes back to me always. I always bang on about it, believe in yourself, and that's it, really.
Yeah. And I think what kind of reminded me on it, I think a lot of people, there will always be that one pivotal moment or that one event that happened where that's the trigger factor. That's where your brain clicks, and that's it. Guns blazing, you're gonna go for something. A lot of people, you know, when we went into med school, you know, I'm sure you remember the first few years we used to kind of help the younger years who were getting into med school interview practice and kind of telling them how to answer the questions, what type of questions maybe it's, you know, asked. And a lot of them, they would always have this moment, this pivotal moment where their life will leverage, like they'll pivot, and it may be that a parent passed away and they were hopeless, they couldn't do anything, or a relative was really unwell in hospital and they got to see the care given to them. And for you, maybe that situation where
definitely.
You know, it's in your hand, you can grasp it, where I can really change my life and make a difference, not only to people in the hospital but more so to my community and the surrounding people. And I think that's quite amazing that you had, you know, an opportunity or a moment where you kind of realized and reaffirmed your belief that, you know what, I'm going to go for it and become successful and be a doctor.
What about you? Any pivotal moments you can think of?
Me, I'm probably like the most unconventional guys. I don't think I really had any pivotal moments. For me, I would say I had a mixed group of friends. So I had friends that were very close to me and, you know, kind of wanted to do well, go to university. A few of them kind of went on to do their stuff, you know, and we would probably talk about them and might even bring them on because they've gone on to do amazing things. And at the same time, I used to also, you know, for me, the difficulty with all of this at this time was happening is I used to become very attached to my friends. So I grew up, you know, with friends that necessarily didn't go to university or college. They kind of left after GCSEs. But I like to think of myself as someone that's loyal, and because we kind of grew up to them, a lot of them probably weren't doing things that, you know, were right or you know, the most sensible things, and you kind of see them and you're in the midst of it, and it's like, how do I forsake my friends of the last 10-15 years because he's been bad, and you kind of end up being caught up in a few times, and you know, and you're just in these two camps. And I think, you know, something happened and one of them ended up going to, you know, prison essentially, and that was for me where you kind of reevaluate and you think to yourself, do you know what, these may be my friends and I've known them for years, and our parents know each other and our parents are, you know, the best friends. But if I keep hanging out with these individuals and I keep going down the route there, I'll lose everything. I'll end up in prison, or I can kind of pivot and work hard, stay with my mates at college, go for med school and try to become something of myself, and kind of same as you, be a role model for these people in the community. Because for me, I'll be honest, it was between the two. I was so close down going down one route, while at the same time had this amazing opportunity that was, you know, flourishing. So I'd say that it wouldn't be a certain moment, but a certain time in my life.
And I think, as you said, everyone I think has that sort of moment.
Yeah, definitely. So
so that's, you happy? You told the world about my
you getting robbed. I didn't realize it'd be that deep and sensitive.
Anyways, if you want to give my N95 back,
that's fine.
Email me again. Anyways, so I think that brings episode 2 to a wrap. I think we should always, as usual, finish with 3 bits of advice for our viewers that are watching and they want to prepare now for their sort of applying to med school. You take it away with your bits of advice.
Top 3 pieces of advice, looking back in hindsight, I would say identify which medical schools you want to go to and why. Find out what they require. Is it a UKCAT? Is it BMAT? And prepare for it as well as you can. there's loads of books out there, loads of courses that are really good, and that will give you an insight. And I think genuinely, from what you said, I probably didn't think of this before. Commit, go for it. Don't be too worried about not getting in. You can always try again. You can always try something else. But commit for it. Don't go into it. Maybe I'm to blame myself as well, because I wasn't really too. I was really on it, but at the same time, wasn't that fussed if I didn't get in.
Yeah.
Be committed. Go for it.
Yeah.
Use. Don't. Like you said, you had one spare option left. Go for it. Maximize the opportunity for you to do medicine.
Definitely.
And finally, just tell your friends about it. Get as much support as you can. Speak to people, and definitely, if you can, and I know it's really tricky, get a mentor that can help you. If you want advice, it's me. We're more than happy to give you, advice. Get a mentor that can help you through the process. Because if you're like us, and it's the first time someone in your family is going to university, you're in an environment where not everyone is conducive, or they're not encouraging you to go to university. It does help having that guiding hand.
Definitely.
What about you? What would you kind of recommend?
Bits of advice. I'll give some specific advice. I'll say number one, regarding work experience, get work experience anywhere. Don't be disheartened if you can't get it in healthcare. Going to charities, nursing homes, care homes, anything that will sort of show off your skills. I think everyone has got those skills. It's just about demonstrating them and learning them. I think number two, as you said, I think with your personal statement and how you got into a group of friends to do it, I think it's important to have loads of friends who get into a nice circle, review each other's work, critique it for each other, and sort of give positive, constructive feedback. Number three, I would say, so that was work experience, that was sort of doing things as a group of friends, writing a personal statement together. And I think when it comes to prepping for med school, you have to always think about your exams, and you have to always think about what happens when you do get an interview. Yeah, so I think that might be something that's worth talking about. We might talk about next episode. Are we talking about that next episode? We can, if you want. We'll talk about it'd be nice to kind of continue. We'll do that. We'll talk about, so I think it's probably a nice one to wrap up. So thank you for everyone for tuning in to the second episode of Scrubbed In. I hope you enjoyed it. You probably got to know a bit more about us and our journey into med school and becoming doctors. Next week we'll probably, we'll try to talk about interviews and what happened next. But tune in, and thank you once again for listening. See you then.